This will focus on the do loops, the do while and the do until loops. We're going to look here on our Excel sheet and we're going to see that we have names of students and we have grades next to them in just kind of an arbitrary order. What we're going to do is we're going to write a program that will allow the user to enter their name, and the program will go through, find their name, and return the grade associated with the name. So here we have in our program, we're going to do a find grade, and we're going to use a do while. So in order for this to work, I'm going to declare a variable called current row, and it's going to be an integer. What this is going to do, this is just going to keep track of the row that we're on. We're going to start, as you can see over here in the data, the names don't start until row 2, so we're going to start our loop on row 2, and we're going to do while the username is not equal to whatever we find in those cells in column 1. And so what this is going to do, we'll put the loop on the bottom here. This is until or while this is true here, that username is not equal to the current the value in the current row, it's going to continue to loop. And that's the way the while loops work. They loop while this is true. So while that name does not match the name that's typed, it's going to continue to loop. Now we have to do a couple of things here. First of all, we have to have a username variable, and we have to ask for what's going to be stored in it. This will allow us to get the name, and if we were to run this, let's just have a message box tell us the name that it's currently looking at. So as we step through here, you notice, let's look for Rob. Current row is 0, username is Rob. As soon as I execute this, now current row is 2, and we're going to say, is the value on row 2 column 1 not equal to Rob? Yes, it is not equal to Rob. It's Nathan, and so we are going to continue our loop, and it's going to tell us that we found Nathan, and it's going to find Nathan again, and each time we're going to see that this continues to give us the result of Nathan. Problem here is that the row has never changed. So while this remains untrue, we are going to continue to do whatever is in the loop, and then we're going to keep checking every time to see if this has changed. Well, we haven't done anything in our loop to allow this to change, so what's going to happen is this would loop infinitely. What I'm going to do here is add 1 to the current row. What that will do is make it so that each time through the loop something changes, so that this expression here has a possibility of changing from true to false. Now let's take a look. Once again, we're going to look for Rob. So we're starting on row 2. Is that, is that equal to Rob? Of course not. It looks like it's Nathan right now. But now we're going to look at row 3. So this one's going to give us a different value. This will be Craig. And you notice it ended on 12 right after Kristen because it suddenly found Rob. So it's going to stay in that loop until this becomes false. So if username is not equal to cells, it's going to continue. So let's do this. Let's just take this out. But it's going to stop as soon as this becomes false. So we'll go ahead and run this. And we're looking for Rob. Should have picked one up higher on the list. Notice it keeps looping. Now one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click here in the gray margin. That's going to allow me to press F5 to run the program, and it's going to pause here and allow me to press F8 and continue. So it looped around. It's on row 12, which is where we're finding Rob. And now as I execute this code, it's going to give me the message box that says Rob. Now really what I want to do is I want to return a grade, and that grade can be found in column 2. So we'll just do something like this. So now as we go through, we'll stop it right there. Oops, gotta have it be right there. We're looking for Rob. It found Rob on row 12. Rob, your grade is B. So it was able to find it. Now, I'm going to change this to be a do until. Do until is the exact opposite of a do while. So notice that I'm saying while this is not true, keep looping. In other words, as long as you haven't found the name, keep going. Well, I'm going to change it to until. That's the only thing that has to change. But now we're going to say do this until they don't match. So if we were to run through here, we're going to get here, does Rob match whatever's in column 2? No. So now this has become true. The do until loops as long as it's false. As soon as it becomes true, it stops. And now it's going to come down and say Rob, your grade is an A. That's clearly not true. So what I need to do here to make sure this works is I need to change this to an equal sign. So as long as this is false, this will continue to loop. And then as soon as it becomes true, it will stop. So as we go through this, we can see we're looking for Rob. I'm going to add a watch here on current row so you can see where we are. So you can see where current row is down here at the bottom. We're on row 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now on 12, it's going to go up. Is the value at row 12 equal to the username? Yep, it is. So now we found it. So what you see is a do while and a do until. I guess we would have to change this right here. Are the same, except they operate opposite of each other. So this one loops until this becomes true. The do while loops until it becomes false. Now just one additional thing I'd like to do here. You don't always have to use a loop just to cruise through a row or a column of data. Another thing you could do is use an input box to change what you're looking for. So what we're going to do here, we'll do some simple addition here. I probably didn't need to declare those, but we'll say num1 is equal to 4. 2 is equal to 3, and let's see, we'll say user answer is equal to First we'll ask the user what num1 plus num2 is. And we'll say do until user answer is equal to now if I were to do this, if I were to say 8 here, user answer is 8, we know that 4 plus 3 is 7, so this is going to loop forever or be an infinite loop because there's nothing to change this here. But what I could do would be to give the user the opportunity to change the user answer. Now, as we go through, what is 3 plus 4? If I say 5, it's going to go back in because it's doing it until they get it right. And so it's going to ask the question again. So if I say 7, it is correct, and so it's done. Now, this is one of the uses that you might notice that we have to have this twice. Once before I go in, then once after I go in. What I could do, if I wanted to here, is take this and put it down here. If I just have the do on top, it will loop. It will always do this one time, and then it will check the result, and if it needs to loop again, it will loop again. So maybe we'll put a message box there. So now as we go through, notice it's going to ask what is that. We'll go 5, and it's going to continue to loop. I'm going to press, well, we'll go through, push 7. Is 4 plus 3 equal to 7? Yes. So now it's going to pop out and give you the correct. So that's two ways to use the do until loop, with the until at the top and the until at the bottom. And it also, notice in the loop we gave the user the opportunity to change so that the user always has an opportunity to get out of the loop. In the previous one up here, we changed what the loop was looking at. So that also had an effect on what the loop could and couldn't do.